If you're building a job or contract management application on Bubble, there are 3 different development complications you must watch out for. In this video, we're walking through Jobber, which is a job management application for home service professionals. It helps skilled pros manage their entire job lifecycle, from quotes, contracts, and invoices to scheduled appointments and financial reports. This is a type of app that we see a lot of on Bubble for many different industries. It's also one we see a lot of people running into a particular set of development issues, which can cause performance and scale complications down the road, and really just a lot of frustration during development. So if this is the type of app or functionality you're building, keep watching so you can avoid these complications in your own development. It's Gabby at Coaching No Code Apps, where we help non-technical entrepreneurs build custom apps to grow or start their businesses, all without coding. Jobber targets field services for residential work like cleaning, landscaping, and general contracting. But many of its features overlap with document generators like PandaDoc to create the actual invoice and contract files, with CRMs and deal managers like Pipedrive to track the overall status of leads converting to customers, with project managers like Monday.com to stay on top of all the various tasks to complete a job, and even with specific RFP software like Loopio to get more granular with proposals and bids. Because this type of app involves features that can apply to so many other use cases, we're going to tear it down to 3 of the most common issues we see come out of developing an app like this. We're going to start with the contract lifecycle. Managing job contracts in an application typically involves following a specific flow of proposals and confirmations. Usually there will be a request for a quote or a bid to kick things off. That needs to be reviewed. Then a contract or invoice is issued. Then a payment is made. And there might be additional steps that are unique to the service provider, involving a number of people to sign off at every stage. There are several pitfalls that we see during the development of this type of feature. The first one is creating that contract flow as you go. If you don't have a clear picture as to the stages of the quote, to contract, to invoice, to scheduling an appointment, to making a payment, that is going to create a lot of messy development for you down the road. It could lead to a lot of extra work. It could lead to a delayed launch. Make sure you have a plan before you start to build in the logic for moving customers from one stage to the next. Because there are so many sub-features within each of these, you want to have a really clear blueprint of what all is involved. What are the requirements to move from one stage to another? What people are involved? Do we have to sign off on different approvals? Do we need signatures? Do we need to get preferences from the customer? Make sure you at least have a baseline of what the overall flow needs to look like and the various branches that that flow can move into. The second pitfall we see is not having a lot of clarity on what can automate that flow to move from one stage to another. Sometimes signing off on a quote should automatically trigger the creation of an invoice or the creation of a contract. Maybe it needs to trigger an integration with a third party to generate documents. If you don't have a clear picture on what should automatically happen when certain checkboxes are marked off, when certain steps are completed, that can lead to a lot of incomplete data. It could lead to holes in your overall workflow and overall miscommunication between your users who are trying to use these features. Another pitfall that we see during the development of a contract lifecycle is neglecting to address error handling. These are the scenarios that you don't want users to run into, but they may, right? If they enter in something incorrectly, if they miss something, if something goes wrong in that flow, and it will, right? You want to account for the scenarios that may create problems. How are you going to help your users out of that situation? How are you going to help them correct the problem so that things stay automated and they can get back on track? You don't want the overall flow to come to a screeching halt. Otherwise, that can lead to lost contracts and have a big impact on the service provider's business. Make sure you have a really clear picture on what that contract flow needs to look like. For some service providers, this could be a really simple 3-step process that everybody goes through the same no matter what. That's a little bit quicker to implement. But for other businesses, things might be a little bit more involved. More people may need to sign off on things. You may need more input from your customers. So take the time to plan it all out. Understand what the various pathways are so that you don't miss anything and you create a better experience for your users. Next up is scheduling. When it comes to managing jobs in an application, you're likely going to need some way of scheduling when that job needs to happen. This might be an internal process that is completely dictated by the service provider, or it might need input from the customer to indicate their preferences for dates, times, locations, maybe even a preference for the professional who will carry out the job itself. Scheduling is one of those things where we see people get shiny object syndrome all the time because there's so many different components to creating appointments and events and creating preferences around how you display calendars, choose time slots, block out availability, display dates, and create recurring rules for days of the week. There are so many different possibilities here. It's very tempting to want to kind of build everything into it, but you really need to build what's going to serve your application the best. You also want to keep in mind that there's going to be a learning curve the more that you build into this feature. Also keep in mind that this scheduling feature may live within a much larger workflow, right? There are other steps that need to happen. So you don't want to spend too much energy on reinventing the wheel for a set of features that need to be basic at the start. Get the elements that you need in there to move the contract through its stages, to move the job through its stages, whatever the overall work is. Learn from your users what's working best. Understand from them where it does make sense to give them more control over preferences and customizing, or what decisions you can make for them. Because if you start to integrate with every single calendar system in the, that is out there into your application, if you start to automate every single step without giving users a chance to manually check on things so that things don't get missed, if you start to customize absolutely every feature and sub-feature, it's going to lead to an incredibly bloated app that is confusing to learn, let alone use. So be mindful of how much you're putting into this. There are, of course, plugins and integrations with certain systems that can save you a lot of time and actually serve the application and be really convenient for your users. But you have to find a good balance between all of these things. It is really easy to overdo it, have tons of dependencies on third parties that can lead to a lot of mismatch logic and really a disjointed experience for your users. You want to focus on the basics first, evolve it from there. And by the way, if you're wanting to build an app like this, we help entrepreneurs go from idea to pilot launch in our own private client program. If you want to see whether you and your app would be a fit for that too, apply for a free strategy call over at coachingnocodeapps.com/call. Now let's talk about documents. Generating documents for a job or a contract management tool can go one of 100 ways. When there's a contract lifecycle, you're often looking at documents for the original quote, the agreement, one or more invoices, and even final reports. Sometimes these documents need to incorporate images, signatures, custom line items, payments, and more. These are the pitfalls that we typically see with documents within a contract management or job management tool. The first is trying to convert a web page that you've designed perfectly in your application to a PDF that is, ideally going to be printed on a piece of paper. Certainly depends on your design. For some simple app designs, this may work out, but more often than not, you're going to want to have a separate space, a separate page in your application that you've designed specifically for the printable version of that content so that it can be translated to a PDF much more easily. In other cases, you may even integrate with a third-party tool where you can manage templates so that you send the data dynamically to that tool and it can generate the document for you from that template. You have a lot of options for that, but one of the biggest pitfalls we see is just trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, right? By trying to convert a web page that is designed around a dashboard with buttons and menu items. We don't need to see those things on the PDF. So take a little bit more care with the layouts. It's okay if you need to create separate pages or create separate experiences to produce your documents, aside from the web view that your users have when they log into your application. Another pitfall that we commonly see is creating too many static designs for those layouts. And we're talking here about invoices, contracts, quotes, everything that needs to be printed, a report maybe. For different service providers, they're going to have a variety of things contributing to the document itself. There might be multiple line items, custom pricing details like taxes and discount codes, custom notes, maybe even image attachments. We see that a lot with, inspections of facilities or homes where we need to see photos for proof of work, things like that. All of these pitfalls can really contribute to poorly formatted documents that are hard to understand. It leads to a breakdown of communication in information for the job, bottlenecks in how the data can be presented to the customer, right? If you have highly tailored and unique services that are being provided to the customer, you need to be able to explain that properly in a document that's super easy to understand. And also another pitfall that we run into, or we see people running into a lot, is not using the right tools for various add-ons, for things like taking signatures or adding image attachments or triggering a payment module of some sort. Just so you're aware, there are many ways to create PDFs from a Bubble application. What I suggest you do is head over to the plugin marketplace and just type in PDF and see all of the plugins that are available there. You're typically going to work with some kind of an integration, though. Bubble doesn't have native PDF generation functionality. Some of them are simple and can be just a quick snapshot, essentially, of a designed page that you have in your app, creating a file out of that. Some may involve connecting to a third-party service where you've created templates, and you'll send the data to the templates. They'll send back the formatted file with all of the data already populated in there. It just depends on what you need, the complexity of your layouts, if they're multi-page files, if they need to incorporate signatures, things like that. So take a look around, do your homework, make sure you find the thing that's going to best fit your app. All right, from here, you should have a good idea of how to better navigate your development. If you want to go vastly deeper, though, schedule a strategy call to sit down and chat with us. We'll help you put together a custom roadmap for your app's development, then see whether you and your app might be a fit to join our private client program. We help entrepreneurs go from idea to pilot launch in that program. So to talk more about it, head to coachingnocodeapps.com/call. All right, I hope this was helpful. We'll see you in the next one.